years, in Europe at least, because people want to go with their friends and they want to have a good time, they want to dance, they want to drink, they want to do drugs, you know, they want the real thing, they want to get laid, you know, this is what they want. And you know, when in electronic music festivals, this is what you get pretty much. You get the experience, you get the visuals, you get the whole pack, but you don't need even like to know the words, you don't even need to know the artists, you know. Just go and dance and it's gonna be alright, you know.
It's a different concept.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say it's a different I think it's a completely different thing, and I don't think it proves that it's what people like. If Coachella wanted to sell 50,000 tickets more, they would sell them. I mean, they would go like this in 5 minutes, and then they would be the biggest festival in the planet, you know. I think it's a complete different thing, but I mean, we're mostly interested here in talking about festivals with bands, and you know, we're all these bands that are sitting down here. I don't know if there's any DJ here. Is there any DJ here? No? One. Okay. So he can tell you a lot of Tomorrowland afterwards.
I'm just telling you what's happening now, and I think until now the only one who combines both is Coachella.
I don't agree with that. I think Berkshire Festival has quite an eclectic lineup. We have an eclectic lineup too. And I think times are changing. Probably 20 years ago, you know, since when people didn't have Spotify or didn't have social media or didn't have any other kind of way of knowing music other than word to mouth, it was easier for the audience to just focus in one genre. But nowadays, the inputs come from everywhere, and the, you know, the slide of music is so big that the younger generations are more open-minded to every kind of music as long as it's quality content. And I'm sure people sitting here, as I said before, will like Beyonce and will like Bon Iver, or will like AC/DC and will like Rich Houghton, or will like whatever, Alt J and
the price.
Tool.
The price. Let's talk about the price of the festival. Is the price that you are demanding from the customer in accordance with the real situation? I mean, economically.
In Spain, in
Let's
our
start with
case,
Spain.
in our case, I think it is, and in fact, our lineup is much more bigger than all of the festivals in Spain, and our price is lower than many of them too. So I would say it's a fair price in Spain.
And Coachella?
What do you want to know?
Have you got customers that are not coming to the show because of the price?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody cares about the price, you know.
It's important.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I'm interested in hearing more about these Israeli festivals, though, if I could.
Yes.
Just because, like, I'm interested in hearing both of what you guys do, and I know that we talked yesterday about, like, you know, your situation with Lana, which was unfortunate. Yeah. And but I really admire what you're doing, and I admire like that you got thrown on the ground and then you're right back up again and you're booking your new festival for next year. But you're doing like, you got this really good enthusiasm for what you're doing, and then the fact that you want to do a festival here too.
Tell us more.
And try to do, you know, something interesting for the people here, because like you say, like, people have more money in Israel now than they had before, and people want to go out and they want to see it, and it's such a beautiful country. So that if you should have multi-festivals here, and you know, and use your expertise and have bands, try to get bands to come here and stop the backlash and get people to come here. Yes. I think it's admirable,
Listen, it's
admirable
like
for what you're doing.
The most perfect location, I think, for a festival. It's a magical place, so I think you can create magical festivals here. And like Iran, we both have the difficulties of booking artists, and it's a much safer. For an artist, it feels like they'll get a lot less backlash if they book a festival and they know that there's 30 other bands coming with them. It just makes it an easier decision for them. And going back onto the content side, for me, a festival's all about discovery. It's about going to a festival, not knowing what you're going to see, not having the exact same genres, and walking into a stage and seeing someone that you'd never listened to before or regularly, and then falling in love right then and there. So I think it's about, I think in the next few years we'll see more festivals coming here. I think in terms of like pricing as well, not that it's that interesting, but in terms of pricing, it'll pretty much be the same. It's not going to be that far off buying a ticket to one show and being able to see 30 artists for the same, like the equivalent of the same price. So
It will always be expensive. That's the
Yeah.
of that.
we pay more for artists pretty much than anywhere else in the world. So we try and keep tickets as low as possible, but in order to make these shows happen, unfortunately,
Will it help if you have local artists that are very big that play at your festival?
When we did have many artists, like local artists playing, but they need to get paid too, of course.
Of course.
But I think once you do that, you have a lot of festivals with local acts. So you do want to support the local acts. You definitely don't want to diss them. You want them to be part of it.
I think they should.
And they are. Like we had
Yes.
pretty much. We have a big problem for next year. We don't have any big artists, local artists left. They all played in the first edition. So
They're upcoming here.
yes. So I mean, they're definitely a part of it. I'm not sure we'll have. I mean, the headliners. I think they need to be international because the local acts, you see them all the time. And also, they don't care. Like for Meteor, we had like the biggest Israeli headliners, but they were playing their own shows a week before, a week later. The Israeli acts, they need to make a living.
I understand.
You can't stop them. So you see them in like a teenager festival a month after, in another family festival 2 months earlier. It doesn't bring much like added value as a headliner, but you definitely want them. You definitely want them and need them, and you cannot separate it.
Because it's common regular contracts that if a band plays at your festival, a local band, he cannot play 50 kilometers around.
But it's
you have
such
no choice.
50 kilometers is pretty much the entire country, and so the bands, they need to make a living.
I understand.
They're not gonna. Of course, it's only a matter of money. If I go and I pay them like triple than what they should get, so maybe it's a possibility. But like at the festival right now, we can't afford it. So I cannot demand exclusivity. And so every Israeli band you take, that like they're gonna most likely have 50 shows until they get to your date, and they're gonna play like everyone who pays their money, they will pay it. You cannot ask for exclusivity because you cannot afford it.
I understand, and we all understand. But I agree with everybody on this line that the location in Israel is fantastic. There are different locations.
Yeah.
There are biblical, historical, whatever you call it.
The main problem is the authorities. The authorities don't want to work.
Let's talk
The authorities don't want to work. The authorities they don't want your festivals. They don't care that it brings money.
But they do. Ayarkon Park, 50,000 people, and that's okay.
Yeah, because Tel Aviv is used to it, and also Tel Aviv, the Ayarkon Park is controlled by two municipal. It's like Tel Aviv and Ramat Gan. So also you cannot do more than one show every 2 weeks. Like with Radiohead, we had a 4 days gap with Guns N' Roses playing in the same location, and it was a nutcase to get a special approval. The local authorities will do everything to do nothing.
So in fact, you're saying that the local government here is not pro festivals. Is that what you say?
No, they're not. And also, if I go to the location we have up north, we ask for this the price quote we got to paid police. We have to get police to work on the festival.
You pay the police?
No, yeah. I mean, policemen. We need to have a certain amount of policemen at the festival.
But you don't have to pay them.
Of course we do.
Really?
Security.
Yeah. No, security and police.
No, security is one
But
thing.
security
police.
and police.
Yes, we
Yeah,
pay
but
them.
it's-
We pay the police.
In Belgium, you don't pay the police.
Okay, so here you pay, and the first price quote we got was 2 million shekels, just for we needed maybe 15 police officers according to the protocol, but they came and you need 300, and by the time we got to the festival, we managed to narrow it down to 60, which is still triple than what we should have, and then the police, they stand there and they do nothing, and then, we need to get the municipal approval, and there's hey, I think it's the birding season, so you can't do it. They always find an excuse for you not to do it.
That's why I understand there's not a lot of festival promoters here.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. So you have like all that stuff, and you still want to do it. It's crazy.
Sure, it makes it more fun, you know.
I want a big applause.
You know, because all those people. Thank you.
You must be, I don't know, it's like in Spain they call it, what the name, Don Quixote de la Mancha, fighting the windmills. I think in Israel, if you want to be, you guys, anybody feel to be a rock and roll promoter or promoter for a festival, you better look and read the book of
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote de la Mancha.
I want to say that I think it's amazing what you guys are doing here. Not only because of all the effort that it takes, but because I think it's very positive for your musical scene. You know, you're placing Israel in a map, in the musical map. Like, people are starting to know something is happening here. And just the fact of you having a poster that will have international headline acts, and that poster has Israel band names. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. It's a start, you know. It's a start for all these people to
Let's talk about,
be noticed.
we spoke about the festivals, but how can festivals survive if they don't have money coming from the catering from people who are there? Is that enough to cover whatever to survive? Because we are talking about survival for you, and the festival gonna come and will have the same problem, because if the government doesn't assist or make it more
We can't
fun,
take money from the government either.
No, I didn't say we didn't ask for government.
Okay.
You need flexibility. You need the police. You need assistance with the dirty things, you know, the
Yes, of
garbage
course.
and everything. And because I've done festivals on airports, because airports is easy. You bring the bands in, they roll in, they roll out. It's easy.
We only have one airport, and it's quite busy, so I'm not sure about that.
So I'm trying to find. You have to find a location where infrastructure doesn't cost you no money, and you have the assistance of the municipality, because they are the next to have the benefits of them, because they will be known for tourism, they will attract people, the young people. It will give an idea of how Israel is a vibrant, like Tel Aviv is a vibrant city. Show it also on a festival site. It's also for you, Karen, on a festival when you will be doing, because in a stadium it's not the same kind of feeling. Are you agree with that, Efko?
Yes. A stadium is not the same kind of feeling. I like the fact that at Coachella it's really pretty, and I can imagine that with your festival in a kibbutz, that it must be really pretty and that you have a nice area to do it. But it's so important because the whole idea of going to a festival, whether it's Tomorrowland or these other festivals or Mad Cool, is to like kind of get away from the rest of your life, really, and to try to
Escape.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that way, you know, what's nice about festivals these days is I remember when I went to a festival, you know, 30 years ago, and I was promoting stuff then. It was like bad pizza, you know, and cold French fries and all that kind of stuff. And now it's like, yeah, you get like pop-up sushi and really beautiful food, and then of course in Europe all the glamping and all this kind of stuff that's going on now. But it's just like they treat you as a person, they treat you really well now when you're going
Correct.
to a festival, and that's such a, you know, a great feeling. And I know that some of the festivals have like at Coachella we spend so much money on art that we hire artists that you know, they could be in like at the Venice Art Festival. That's the kind of, we commission people to do these gigantic, beautiful sculptures, and then we also have like you know, and these other festivals are like, there's comedy now, and there's film, and then also just as far as like there's the policies that are going in right now about how to treat people who are at a festival is a bit of a model, hopefully, for, you know, for the rest of society. Like, you go in there and people aren't fighting and they're getting along and they're watching interesting things. I just find that so interesting, and I love that, the fact that, you know, you guys represent that too with what you're trying to do here, and especially like in Israel, that hopefully you'll set a bit of a model, you know, for the rest of the country going forward with your ideas that you're trying to achieve.
I think with these words, there's nothing much more to add. And also, your festival being a bit exceptional because it's an event for professionals, mostly than for consumers.
We have 2/3 of professionals and 1/3 of B2C audience.
Yes, you see. When we cannot compare them to
Yeah,
the
sure,
others.
sure. I was not comparing.
You are a unique selling proposal. But again, I wanted to say that the people who are doing the festivals here only are bothered to have their audience see the magic happens. And the magic happens only if a few things are united, which is a good location, especially the kibbutz sounds, especially the desert sounds, especially. It's attractive. I don't know. Do you have Bedouin music also at the festival?
Bedouin?
Yes.
No, we didn't have Bedouin music this year, but I mean it's a good question because we were thinking about
It's
it.
the best question.
We're supposed to have a Druzes, but it didn't work out with them. But I think next year we're definitely going like more, Mother Nature.
So it has so much opportunities, and a festival, you have a good headliner, you go to middle, and then you have something like Bedouins and things like that. Then audience will feel so comfortable. And I want to thank you, everybody here and on the floor here. Thank you for your participation. And you've been a wonderful audience. And don't forget, we love Israel.